Some of you are seeing me since morning but tired of my face now. Okay. If no, then you're asking for trouble. You'll see more of me. If yes, you learn to survive. Okay. Yeah, hi all of you. Online, Shipra, Shivali, Akshay, Nidhi, Harshita. Yeah, we are starting late today because we had a unplanned session on essay. I didn't plan about it. But when the essays topics came up for today's mains, so I decided I can discuss something on the essays because most of you ultimately will need that. And some of you have met me also कि essays के लिए क्या करना है. My suggestion is don't join a course now for the essays. It's the wrong time. Essay ultimately is a next level answer writing. So if you learn answer writing, you understand GS and geography better. With writing practice, essays we automatically, in some ways, we will learn. So don't get into all type of courses right now, is my recommendation. Okay, let's focus on finishing off these topics first. Then we get the essays. Hi Survi, good evening. Okay, Gaurav. Some things are supposed to happen or they happen. Right then, so I've discussed growth of population, distribution, all the theories of population, including DTM theory. Then we had some discussions on optimum population. We had on what is social capital. We had a longer discussion there. Iske alawa, we also have discussed what is social well-being, some ideas on that. And the last class, we have covered 6-7 case studies. Now, the older students do not know about this. Last couple of months, we have been doing case studies on regular basis after the regular daily foundation class. So, our students are there, but wo bhi fact hai ki not all of you attend the sessions. In the foundation sessions, you're struggling with other things. That's how we are repeating some of the case studies. So you have case studies on migrations, case studies related to environmental disasters, case studies of population programs. Okay, 6 ratio का एक बताया होगा शायद आपको अजय ने. So we have given you 6, 7 or whatever case studies you have. So those case studies you will use as a part of your answer writing also. Difference ये है, देखो, in any discussion that you have, you need to have examples. Okay, so ports are important. Example, Mumbai port. Roads are important. Example is the Golden Quadrilateral. We need to have industrial development. Example, some cluster. But these examples, they must illustrate something more than simply the name. So ports are important. Example, Mumbai port, which has generated X amount of employment, Y amount of exports. Mumbai port, very important for urbanization. Mumbai port is also encouraging industries like petrochemicals. जब examples को आप बढ़ा देते हो in terms of some details, okay, plus in geography, because it's maps, when you add regions maps on this, then this becomes a case study. So if I ask you, tell me how important is population development parameters for overall development. So overall development is employment, industries, per capita income, and population measures are malnutrition, maybe TFR, maybe education levels. So आपको compare करना होगा ना. This is a district or a state called A. This is the district or a state called B. Let us look at the parameters of the development. We find industrially this has more industries, less industries. We talk in terms of per capita income. This has more income, less income. And you find that this parameter has a correlationship with problems of anemia, यहाँ पर low है, female education यहाँ पर high है. You talk in terms of say birth rates and TFR, यहाँ पर again low है. And in this area इसके adverse हैं, because these parameters are favorable, therefore development is happening. I hope you got the point here. So what happens is, when you are discussing human aspects, अगर इस depth में आप नहीं जाओगे, the answer is a very regular bland answer. तो class 10th का बच्चा ये बोल देगा कि education important है. Why? Because it's part of some development. How do you substantiate it? Okay, so one important word I would like to impose on you is, let answers look like they are studied answers. Whatever positions you take. So your position is that environmental sustainability is a very important part of urban development. Okay. अब ये बोल के छोड़ मत दो. Add, there are two places where investment forest में कितना है, investment probably water harvesting में कितना है, investment in clean technology कितना है, and how that area has also good per capita income and industrial development. That's what I mean by a case study. So if I ask you, tell us what has been the impact of tribal languages in something. So until you have a state, some districts, some name of languages, then otherwise it becomes a very, very regular statement. You will not get 0 marks, but I don't see you scoring over the others. I want you to treat this as some kind of a competition where you get higher marks, not simply I'm getting good marks. Good though, 7 out of 10 good hai. But what if you get 7 out of 10 and all the other 100 students also got 7 out of 10? But here enough thodi hai. That's why I'm insisting. One of you, I'm asking a question. Why do we need case studies? Essentially, I want your answer to look like they are studied answers. Random generalizations nahi hai. Okay, Shipra. Okay, fine. So, no, you need not remember exact data down to the decimal points. But a broad pata hona chahiye. Above 80, below 90, about 50%, around 1/3, income is more than 1 lakh, about 50. So those averages or approximations are fine. But you must consciously work towards that. और यही वो time है. All of this work you cannot do in that 1 or 2 months before the main examination. Okay? So, in the foundation classes, although I'm teaching case studies, Ajay spends 2 or 3 days a week, but there is not much of appreciation. There are some of you are regular, okay? Others all over the place. So, theek hai, because of that, I told Ajay ki, see, you can introduce some of the case studies as a part of the enrichment program also. Yes, correct. The case studies must be the basis of your arguments. आप क्यों कहना चाह रहे हैं? And you do not need too many of them. If you have a bank of 40, 50 case studies, okay, population के थोड़े, urban problems में थोड़े, some on industrial development, some on environment issues, some related to infrastructure. You have a bank of 40, 50 good case studies. इसको डालो ना अपने GS में भी, no issues. हाँ निधि, so see what you can do there. ठीक है? So that was the idea. I hope I am convincing you enough. Yes, excellent, very nice. Okay, then let's move on. So there are 3 topics I must discuss. One is migrations, discuss karna hai. Second is I want to discuss some bit of development issues. And third, we will take up something on culture. If this much you have done, you have covered bulk of population geography. Okay, let's start off with migration. Migration. Every year, one question migration is a must. आना ही आना है. Okay, so migrations में Ravenstein's theory you must know. Lee's push and pull theory you must know. And you must know Lee, L-E-E, and Stauffer, S-T-O-U-F-E-R. Stauffer's, if you know, fine, doesn't matter. But I'll recommend that you know Zelensky's theory. Zelensky's theory on migration is also called as Zelensky's mobility transition theory. So exact keywords, you can go back and look. I'll give you the crux of what they're telling us. देखो बच्चे, मैं आपको फाउंडेशन पढ़ा तो नहीं पाऊंगा यहाँ पर. That's why I said all those who have not done geography with me or missed the class, whatever reason, please feel free to take up the foundation class notes, which are booklets. There are 3 booklets. I'll recommend you better have it. Others who have done the foundation, you know all the content, more or less. ठीक है, so headings में, now देखो, Ravenstein theory के, there are essentially 4 broad points. The 4 broad points are that migrations are primarily economic migrations. The migrations are towards urban areas and centers of commerce. He does not talk about climate change, doesn't talk about persecution, doesn't talk about political reasons for migration. So he says migration is because of economic factor, employment. Migrations are towards urban centers, and migrations are toward centers of commercial, centers of commerce. ये एक point है. Second point, because again this is a theory, much older, 1800 का theory था. So in those times, abhi bhi not wrong, because economic aspect, it says the dominant migrants are males, males who are young and males who are single. There is a gender disparity, and ये गलत नहीं है. Lot of long distance migrations even now continue to be male dominated. Most of them are young and most of them are single. So ये भी सही concept है. And the third concept he refers to is that migrations are one of the reasons for problems of congestions. Migrations are one of the reasons for problems of congestions. And in his theory, he talks about urban housing as a consistent problem. But I can expand the idea. Housing maybe was more relevant in the 19th century and all. But today, this problem is reflected in traffic problems, amenity problems, problems of pollution, problems of crowding, and so on. So he sees migrations, and migration is such that these problems are perpetual problems he talks about. And the fourth aspect is, he says, that migration is not a sudden process. Migration happens in stages, from A towards B, B towards C, C towards D. And the reason why he talks about the stages is, back then, he was talking in the context of then existing modes of transportation. Right? You had more of horse-driven carts, you may have some smaller lengths of railways. There was not much information about very far off places. So this is the 4 core ideas. ये बाकी points you know, counter migration, all this पता है आपको. These are the 4 core ideas of Ravenstein. The migrations are economic factors की वजह से. Migration, there is a gender difference in migrations. Migration is one of the main reasons for congestion and urban problems. And migration is not a very fast process. Migration happens in stages and in short distances. Okay, this is the idea. Short distances is the preferred one. But if you look at the today's conditions, you'll remember that ये चारों सही नहीं है always. Today migrations are climate. Please keep writing. You know, you don't have to wait for, because ऐसे discussions मैंने class में भी नहीं किया होगा. Class में I'm giving you 9 sentence statements. So keep writing here. So I said the main criticisms of the theory is that he is ignoring all the other factors of migration, which is persecution, conflicts and wars, climate-induced migrations भी होते हैं. And not all migrations are always for factors of economic growth. Migrations because of education hai, migrations as a consequence of cultural factors like marriage bhi hai. In India, marriage is the biggest reason for intra-state migrations and rural to rural migrations. Ravenstein ke model mein all migrations are towards urban centers. Zaruri nahi hai. So that's one error. Second error kya bolenge? Right, but so migrations are no longer limited to male young single alone. Today's time we're talking about globalization, we're talking about better modes of communication, better information that we have. So now migrations are also women migrating, also the older population. In fact, today, in recent times, lot of migration happens by the retired populations also. They're looking for retirement homes. They're looking for, back to roots wala concept jo hai. They want to go back to villages. So this is again not entirely correct, but still a dominant part of migration. Then here we say that the problems that we talk about migrations, like congestion ho, housing ho, we say we will not blame this on the migrants. The problems are more related to urban governance problems. It's not that migration causes all the problems of congestion and problems of housing. The governance problems. Say housing, jaise ke, for example, lot of cities mein, the housing shortages are because of demand supply imbalance. Se zyada important hai pricing problem, affordability problems hai. There are enough houses. It's just that pricing, black money, corruptions, that keeps people out. Lot of housing problems are also because of cultural and racial biases. Okay, we don't want to give houses to some category of populations or some levels of income class. Okay, so problems of housing infrastructure, I said, they are issues of governance. Okay, they are issues related to the type of laws and urban plans that we are doing. So, wo bigger issue hai. And today, when I say there are better modes of communication, migrations are no longer stage migrations. As a thodi hai, you're migrating to Delhi from Chennai. You're first going to Bhopal, then to going to Gwalior, and then you're going to Agra, then to Delhi. Aisa thodi hota hai. Now you've got good means, you directly fly to Delhi. I must go to Britain. I don't hop around, right? Direct take a flight, go to Britain, London. So this stage-wise migration probably was fine, okay, for locations where the modes of communications are not developed, or where maybe the people are not willing to migrate. Today there's a lot of willingness to migrate. Okay, and one important point he missed out is that how migration is influenced by policies and laws. Not so much because of employment issues, economic issues, is laws. What type of migration policies I have. Now, what kind of pro-migration governments we have or anti-migration governments we have. So, कोई भी migration का question दिखेगा ना, see if you have some scope of discussing it through Ravenstein's laws. So, discuss impact of globalization on migration. बताया आपको. Then you say that the conventional thinking of migration influence Ravenstein are these 3-4 points. But what we find is globalization offers a different range, reasons and direction of migration. Start off there. So आपको alert रहेगा, okay, migration सुनते ही ये laws दिमाग में आने चाहिए. How can I bring the laws? Is something like, you know, I mean, an example I give all students. Say, and I'm putting on a very nice watch. Like, I'm very proud of my watch. अब मुझे दिखाना है. Okay. अगर आपने मुझे पूछ दिया तो मैं तो पक्का दिखाई दूंगा, देखो मेरा वॉच है. Okay. मार्क जुकरबर्ग ने भी अनंत अंबानी का घड़ी देख ही लिया, राइट? ठीक है. और अगर नहीं पूछा, I'll find ways. आप बताइए कैसे हैं, आदाब अर्ज है, ठीक है, प्लीज कम एंड लेट अस सिट डाउन हियर. पता नहीं यहां पे क्यों चोट लग गया है, बड़ा दुख रहा है. You'll find ways, no? So see this content as you're showing off your watch. You know some content, अब कुछ आइडिया है, like, and मेरे पास वो 10, 15, 20 आइडियाज हैं. कुछ भी क्वेश्चन पूछेगा, I'll try finding out कि how do I put this interesting idea into my answer. So see the content of enrichment advanced courses more as those kind of interesting ideas. ठीक है? हाँ, मोटा भाई ने छोटा भाई को दिखा दिया था. Fine. Okay. Okay, all fine here? So any question migration, have one paragraph on Ravenstein, what is the wisdom, and then apply whatever you want to say. ठीक है? That's one theory you must know. All of you know about Lee's theory. Very simple, right? It is, there is a push factor and there is a pull factor. The push-pull factor together will decide, okay, the migration. So we have factors related to destinations. We have factors related to the source regions. The factors which operate on the source regions and their adverse. बच्चे लिख नहीं रहे हो. Even if you know the concept, get used to writing fast, don't miss the words. Lee's theory is push-pull factor theory. I will not dictate. Okay, I will speak and you must write down on your own. Lee's theory is push-pull factor. Okay, pull factors are the attractiveness and the push factors are the adversities. Push factor जो है वो source area में काम करता है and the pull factors operates on the destination regions. ठीक है? So I think you know this. Now there are 3 insights from this idea. Okay. Now push-pull is a pretty comprehensive theory because इसमें कुछ भी लगा लो, you will have definitely a push-pull angle there. Environmental problem, conflict problems, problems related to poverty, problems related to loss of jobs, environmental issues. तो push तो ये theory कहीं भी लगा सकते हो आप. But there are 3 important concepts here. One important concept here is that lot of pull factors are assumptions about the destinations. They are not absolute, they are relative in nature mostly. The pull, because see, not all of us have actually gone to the destination regions. हम तो बैठे-बैठे सोच रहे हैं, right? That if I was in London, I would have had a better life. If I was in San Francisco, I would have a better life. If I was in Paris, my wages would have been better. हम तो imagine कर रहे हैं, right? So pull factors are largely assumptions. They're largely relative assumptions about the locations. They are not absolute. ठीक है? Which means in the pull factors, the psychological component बहुत important होता है. What are your expectations from a particular area? Which may not always be accurate expectations about the destination regions. बहुत बार our ideas are actually flawed assumptions होते हैं. ठीक है? That's one aspect. Second aspect है the push regions. The push factors, they generally are absolute. उसमें assumptions नहीं होता. अगर floods है तो है, इसमें assumption क्या है? If there's persecution, conflicts, it's there. There's no assumption here. If there are droughts, agricultural failure, it exists. So push factors are absolute. They actually operate. And the pull factors are relatively more relative. ठीक है? उसके बाद, the third concept is that it is not push-pull that operate directly. There are certain intervening factors also. Okay. They are the mediating factors. Okay. That help us. The mediating factors, they help us choose the destination regions. They help us choose the destination regions. कि मुझे जाना किधर है? Say, okay, I have push factor. Where do I go towards? I have a push factor. What is my choice of destination? So the intervening factors, they are more important in deciding the direction of migrations. Intervening factors चार तरह के होते हैं. One is psychological assumptions. It's about what I think about a place and the problem. The second factor are our own physical limitations like health factors. I can't walk, or maybe I'm not well, like I'm an old man, I'm a child. Okay, एक है psychological aspects, perception is one. Number two is the physical health. Third is the cultural factors, the very, very powerful reasons where ultimately I will go. Cultural factors, okay. And the fourth are the policies of the government. Even if I want to go to some place, maybe the laws there are not encouraging me to move in. Okay? So, in some ways, we say the least theory is a more comprehensive theory. Push-pull theory is more comprehensive. It is more representative of the reality. It's more representative of the reality. And you can apply this modern times, future में कहीं भी apply कर सकते हो आप. Yes, you can add that also. You're right. Intervening factors also includes technology in today's times. Technology in terms of modes of transport, technology in terms of remote working options, okay. Technology in terms of access to information through internet maybe, oh, important, you're right. Technology, perception, cultural factors, physical conditions, and aspects of government rules, laws, policies, and legal issues. Okay? So you can have a good comparison of how least theory is definitely an improvement over Ravenstein's theory. Okay. So this is the 3-4 points about this one. I'm ignoring Stoffer's right now. I'm going to a Zelinsky's theory. Zelinsky's theory primarily is about the migrations of industrial labor or migrations related to industrial demand of labor. Industrial demand of labor. So he's talking about a rural to rural migration, rural to urban migration, urban to urban migration, and finally urban circulations. So it's a migration related to industrial labor. Okay, and he says that these 4 types of migration, rural to rural, rural urban, urban urban, and urban circulation. Circulation मतलब होता है I am no longer a migrant actually. I am only moving between cities. I live in Delhi, my family is here, my kids study here, and for some months I work from Chennai. For 1 or 2 weeks I go to New York. I might have consultation responsibility in Bangalore, and I'm again back in Delhi. We call this as circulations, not migration, because I do not change my place of residence, okay, for a permanent basis. Achha. So that's one. Now, so when I said it is an industrial thing, and then he says that these 4 types of migrations are actually 4 stages in the economic transition of a society. As a society changes from rural towards urban, these are 4 stages in the economic transition of a society. That's one. And this migration is also related to okay, economic and social transition, also related to economic and social transition. So this is like representing a lack of development, there is uniform poverty and urbanization, and relatively much better economic development. So this is stages of economic development being reflected here. But then this model doesn't tell us about, okay, other forms of migration, environmental factors, political persecution, cultural factors of migration. Okay, so it's Ravenstein was commercial, ये भी economic commercial है, but more in terms of industrialization. And Zelensky's model has a very good correlationship with demographic transition model, right? So circulation and good part of urban is actually the stage 4 of demographic transition. Rural and no migration, ये stage 1 है. Stage 2 and 3 has rural urban and lot of urban also. There is lot of correlationship of Zelensky's migration stages with the demographic transition stages. Society moving from rural to urban, these are the 4 types of migrations. ठीक है all of you? जिसमें एक और point add कर सकते हो that this migration model is applicable or was applicable for, okay, the phase of industrialization in Europe, right from 18th 19th century का जो changes था यूरोप में because of industrialization. This model is relatively more applicable. So if you remember, when you are discussing any answer, I said you do these 3 things. There are some concepts, there are some specifics, and there are applied. So I gave you this as a canvas to think through a question. The theories will become part of the concepts. कुछ भी question पूछेगा migration में, think on how can I apply Ravenstein, how can I apply Lee's model, or how can I apply, okay, model of Zelensky. And you don't have to explain the theory, apply कर बताओ. Unlike Ravenstein or like Lee's theory, some 2 lines with diagram, the concepts is done. He has discussed one migration because of environmental problem, or Sagar Island and along the Bengal coast discuss किया था. So migration because of conflicts, tribal issues discuss किया था, right? So those things are done. So I'm just putting it here. So when discussing migration examples, make sure you have one example related to environment. इसका उठा लो case study. Okay. Draw the map, the region, show the arrow marks. Okay. So your उसमें हो गया. One migration you can show as a consequence of a rural poverty and tribal issues. जो droughts वाले हैं इसमें बन जाते हैं. And one migration do discuss in terms of conflicts. Migration in terms of conflicts. इसका best example है take up, okay, maybe Middle East conflicts or take up Ukraine. So I'm drawing the map for you. Okay, so एक ही map में हम दोनों दिखा देते हैं आपको. So Ukraine, this is the Black Sea. This is the Caspian Sea. Caspian Sea, Caucasus Mountains here, Okay, this is the Anatolia region, okay, the Black Sea, Mediterranean region and so on. And this area, this is the country called as Belarus. This is the country called as Turkey. You have a country here called as Georgia. This part is Romania. Come here we have, sorry, here we have Poland and we have got Hungary. Okay? So the migration because of conflicts, ये वाला part Ukraine है. This part is Ukraine. Okay, Belarus, Poland, Hungary, Romania, and Turkey, Georgia. Migrations from Ukraine. You just show arrow marks now. Okay, so you have got good migrations towards Georgia. You have got more migrations towards Romania, Hungary, and Poland. Belarus is more of a Russian territory. Okay, you don't have too many. So examples mein that even if Belarus is adjoining region, because of political issues, Belarus will not have too many of migrants. The main migrants are Hungary and Poland. Okay, and further this side, you want to show you have got Germany here. There's some migrations towards Germany also. Itna kafi hai, that's about it. With arrow mark you show this. And down south here, okay. So that's Africa. Okay. Like this, you come down here. Okay. This part here. This here. So because of this is your Gaza Strip in this part here, Jordan. So migrations from here into parts of Arabia, into parts of Turkey, from here again Germany. Okay, so this is the migrations. The out migration regions are Syria. The out migration regions include the regions of Palestine, which includes also the Gaza region. The main recipients of Middle East crisis are Turkey, Saudi Arabia, of course Jordan. ये बगल में यहाँ पर Jordan है. Jordan and also European countries, including France and Germany. Including France and Germany. Gaza says, I've drawn this area as the Israel, okay, and the area of conflict. All done here? So what are the reasons of migrations? What are the theories of migrations? Now quickly, some of you do not have this because I didn't update it for most of you. Take down some points. The World Migration Report 2024. The World Migration Report. और ये data use करना and wherever possible add a source. Okay. So not in every case, but wherever you know, please add it. The World Migration Report लिखो आप. The key data क्या है? That there are 6 million Ukrainians. There are 6 million Ukrainian refugees. 6 million Ukrainian refugees because of Ukraine conflict. And today, Ukraine is the second largest source region for migration after Africa. Today, Ukraine is the second largest source regions after Africa. Yes, imagine कितने migration है यहाँ पर now. One country, all of this in last 1-2 years. Let's write down. The largest refugees are from the conflict regions. World scale में, the largest amount of refugees are from the conflict regions. Okay. इसमें areas are Afghanistan, Ethiopia, Sudan, Syria, Gaza and Ukraine. Okay. These are largely, if I put in terms of the region, essentially 3 region hai. They dominate the out migrations because of conflicts. So the regions are Middle East, Ukraine and Central Asia. ये 3 biggest blocks of conflict out migrations. Middle East, Central Asia and Ukraine. बाकी scattered है across different locations. Okay, let's say down. Across the world, there are 35 million refugees. 35 million, and half of them are less than 18 years of age. 35 million refugees and half of them are less than 18 years of age. Means a good amount of refugees are children and the young youth. Lot of refugees are children and young youth. Okay, and these include some of the victims of human trafficking also. Includes some of the victims of human trafficking also. Next, the largest destination region. Largest destination region is Turkey. Because देखो Turkey ना ये तीनों के पास हो जाता है. Turkey receives lot of migrants from Middle East. Turkey also receives some migration from Central Asia. Okay, and also partly from Ukraine, because across the Black Sea to hai. So Turkey has about 4 million refugees. 4 million refugees, followed by Pakistan and Iran. Followed by Pakistan and Iran. And understandable, because a very large out migration is the Central Asian region. Okay, so whoever escapes from here, the northern side is all deserts. Kazakhstan, Russian Siberia. Okay, you have got the Himalayas. So the 2 main areas of out migration destination areas are, one is Iran and the second is Pakistan. Now you can discuss this in terms of geographical concept. हो गया आपका? Put a star mark and write down. Yeah, Turkey has 4 million, correct. Write down. The patterns of migration flow. The patterns of migration flows reflects geographical control. Reflects geographical control. Okay. Number one, most migrations are short distance migrations. Most migrations are short distance migrations. Because refugees hai, okay? Refugees can't spend all that money, okay, across the oceans. They escape into neighboring areas. Okay, so Afghanistan, neighboring area is Pakistan, Iran. Gaza Strip, the neighboring region is Turkey and Jordan and Saudi Arabia. Ukraine, the neighboring region is Poland and Hungary. Okay, so most migrations are short distance and they cross the political borders. नहीं, Sayed, Ravenstein is more around economic factors. ठीक है, so otherwise, yes, short distance is more. Okay, that's one. The second important geographic control is that the patterns of migration are controlled by alignment of mountain barriers, and presence and absence or absence of migration routes, such as highways, such as navigable rivers or navigable seas. Okay? There is a geographical factor. Why many of them don't end up towards India? Because of the Himalayan borders here. Why this area go towards this? Because okay, this is all Sahara deserts. You end up in areas where you don't have as many barriers. Okay? And remember that this is despite, write down, the above trends of migrations are despite unfavorable government policies. That despite unfavorable government policies and political economic reality. Afghanistan migration into Pakistan का मतलब क्या है? They're escaping literally for survival. Okay, otherwise Pakistan के अपने problems हैं, poverty है, conflicts हैं. There's no reason why they go to Pakistan, or for that matter, Iran. It's like not choosing between the lesser or the more evil. You stay in Afghanistan, Central Asia, you are dead. Okay, let's go to a place which is nearby, even if the people don't encourage it, but will cross the borders. So what's happening in Mexico? Okay, Mexico, the policies of US is anti-Latin American or anti-Mexico, but yet you have tremendous amount of illegal migrations. In fact, jitna strong laws hoga, utna zyada illegal migrations hoga. Right? So the migration ultimately is because of the geographical proximity. It doesn't matter rich hain ya poor hain, they have money or not, laws hain, they will escape. And that is one reason why we have so much problems of human trafficking. Fine here? There's a small geographical dimension. Continue, write down, next, write down. Apart from conflicts, the other important reason for outmigration are, number one, droughts and desertification. Other important reasons for migrations are droughts and desertification. Basically topics, issues related to environment. Okay, and the second important reasons are, okay, in recent times mein hai, migration for education. So migration for education is a big trend in South Asia, India, and also in East Asia, Korea, China, Malaysia, okay, Southeast Asia. So South Asia, India, Bangladesh also, and East Asia, यहाँ से बहुत migrations हैं for education reasons. Add here, within bracket mention, that in India, education out-migration increased from 2 million in 2001, 2 million in 2001 to about 6 million in 2022-23. From 2 million in 2001 to about 6 million in 22-23. Achha, ye number is, that's not India, it is India and China together. This migration is India and China together, not just India. 2 million to about 6 million in 2022-23. This is what we refer to as a brain drain. Okay, and within bracket mention this point that this migration is not distress migration. This migration is not distress migration. It's a choice, and most migrants are young, aspirational, and from middle and high income families. From middle and high income families. Then write down, according to IMO, ये पूरा documented है, okay? According to IMO, migration process is a positive process. Migration process is a positive process. It tells us 5 reasons of the positive consequences. Number 1, it boosts local economy of destination regions. Migrations boosts local economy of destination regions. Number 2, it boosts skill development. It boosts skill development. Number 3, it drives investments. It drives investments. Number 4, it drives innovations. It drives innovations. And 5, it results in reduced economic pressure in source regions. It results in reduced economic pressure in the source regions. Iska case study Ajay sir has given you his last class. The positive impacts of out migrations on Punjab, Haryana. Okay, how the local population benefits because okay, you have got prospects elsewhere. Okay, the 5 ye pancho problem IMO pancho benefits are mentioned by IMO. Mention that and write down. Okay, yeah, so boost local economy and source regions because of remittances. Correct. It drives investments, remittances. Lot of investment comes back from the diaspora. Ye to hai power of diaspora and the soft power influence. Yeah, so negatives, Ganesh, is like this, you know. एडुकेशन के भी नेगेटिव्स हैं. ज्यादा पढ़ लिख लिया तो आजकल लड़की नहीं मिलती. ओके, लड़की ने पढ़ लिया तो लड़का नहीं मिलता. ज्यादा पढ़ लिख लिया डिप्रेशन हो जाता है. इतना ज्ञान है, अब मैं क्या करूं इस ज्ञान का. राइट, बट यू कांट राइट दोस पॉइंट्स एज द की पॉइंट्स. ओके, so you see, you have to choose what to debate on. So maybe passing reference on what are the negatives, but I insisted on this. See the negatives of migration more from the perspective of the planning problems. Okay, planning problems, lack of governance, a lack of infrastructure. ये migration issue नहीं है, ये urban planning के problems. ठीक है? The rest is, achha. Now a small discussion on Indian migrations. So data में, so India is the largest recipient of migration remittance in the world. India is the largest recipient of migration remittance. Almost 120 billion hai. Almost 120 billion. Okay. Migration absorbs 3 million population from India in Middle East. 3 million population from India in Middle East. Okay. Economic pressure in states like Rajasthan, Kerala, Bihar, UP and Punjab. Reduction of economic pressure in 5 states, Rajasthan, Kerala, UP, Bihar and Punjab, is because of outmigration. Because these states do not have as much economy to absorb their own populations. The migration, the reason why the economic pressure is manageable. Let's get down. Without migration, some of the above states would be 30% lower. Next, it is migration prospects. It is out-migration. Yeah, online. Without migrations, the per capita income. Let me check. Am I audible now? Okay. The last point I dictated was, without migration, the per capita income of above states. The 5 states hai, Rajasthan, okay, mentioned Kerala, UP, Bihar and Punjab. The per capita, okay, income of the above states would be 30% lesser. Would be 30% lesser. Then write down, next point, out-migration prospects. An expansion of IT sector. Out-migration prospects and prospects of IT sector is one of the main reasons of education expansion of southern India. It is one of the main reasons for education expansion in southern India. Education Karnataka, Andhra, Telangana and Tamil Nadu. I hope you all know that these states have very high density of engineering colleges, right? And it happened largely after the internet revolution and the IT sector prospects of the late 20th century. And that's how all of them, computers, engineering, STEMs and all of that. And many of them out-migrated to the US. They've gone to Western Europe. They've gone to Australia. So agar out-migration employment prospects nahi hota, then probably they would not have pushed the idea of engineering education. So the improvement in education, ek reason tha out-migration in the IT sector. ठीक है? Yeah, so Gaurav says, after Delhi, the highest per capita income is for Hyderabad. Fine, I don't know why not Bangalore. Among the high hoga, definitely. Delhi, Hyderabad, Bangalore, definitely among, even Pune for that matter. And one reason is the migration prospects related to IT sector. Let's say down that in India, traditionally internal migration has been related to rural distress, and because of marriage. Okay, so I hope you know this. Women make up the biggest proportion of migrants within the state. Okay, but in recent times, environmental disasters में सारे आते हैं, landslides, cyclones, desertification, droughts. Environmental disasters are the biggest reasons for internally displaced populations. They are the biggest reasons for internally displaced populations. एक और नया ट्रेंड है. It is the emergence of urban gig economy. It is the emergence of urban gig economy, GIG, gig economy, that has also driven migration. Now all these delivery services, Amazon, Zomato, Swiggy, Blinkit, is a very big economy. And this economy further encourages migration. Good data likho from Niti Aayog, it says, okay, more than 90% of gig economy workers are migrants. More than 90% of gig economy workers are migrants. Totality, the total gig work economy is of 70 lakhs. The total gig economy workers, gig workers is about 70 lakhs. The largest employer is the service sector. The largest employer are the service sector. Gig का मतलब क्या होता है? Short term employment without any labor support, without any benefits, and I've heard about facility services employment. Say I'm a company, I can employ people in housekeeping, gardening, I can employ people as a part of security services. Okay? So a lot of gig workers are also in SME sectors. SMEs, 2 महीने का contractual welders, 1 month of contractual carpenters, some of them working as housekeeping services. Okay? So if you look at gig economy, lot of workers are in manufacturing also, right? But what it's saying is that the kind of gig economy emerged here, they are mostly in the services sector. So services is delivery sector. So Swiggy, Zomato, or Blinkit, I talk about Ola drivers or Uber drivers, they all are in the services sector. 70 okay, lakh workers, 70. Okay? The next point likho aap. The median age of gig workers, is less than 25 years. Is less than 25 years. Okay? तो ये कुछ data use करो migration में. I don't think you should miss out. And the rest you know more or less. Migration कहाँ पर because of conflicts हैं. Today, the one of major 3 pockets of conflicts in India. Okay, एक है Kashmir Valley region रहा है. One, number 2 is the northeast region. Third is Central Indian जो आपका Red Corridor. ये 3 major pockets of conflicts हैं. The Red Corridor area is decreasing. Kashmir Valley has seen fluctuations, okay, but increase has been in the northeast, the Manipur, Kuki tribes, and all of that. The article लिख लो point that an additional a major reason for displacements are conflicts. And in more recent times, the conflicts of northeastern India. So look at a question I'm giving you now. ठीक है, ये migration करा दिया मैंने. I've touched on most important points. Now my question is, how much of, लिखो, frame करो, write down the question. How much of development related problems, comma, disparities and poverty can be addressed by migration? How much of development related problems, comma, disparities and poverty can be addressed by migrations? Discuss with examples. Can you all think on this question now? Basically, I am asking you to evaluate, can migration be a sustainable solution, or at least a major solution to problems of inequalities, problems of disparities, poverty, and issues of development? इसको आप सोचेंगे कैसे, बताओ? See, don't give me one word. Yes sir, no sir, long term में, short term में. बेटा आपको लिखना है 200 वर्ड, ओके? एक वर्ड देना छोड़ दो. Sit down for some time and think on the question. How will you attack the question? Can you make a list of maybe 3-4? What are the development related challenges? फिर बताएंगे कि भाई ये सॉल्व होगा, ये नहीं होगा. Development challenges are lack of drinking water, lack of health amenities, imbalanced sex ratio. Okay. Development problems includes aging issues problems, okay, and their infrastructure and support. ठीक है? Energy scarcity. पहले तोड़ तो दो कि भाई डेवलपमेंट में ये प्रॉब्लम्स आती हैं. Development problems also includes conflicts, or at least notions of perceived exploitation, ये भी आते हैं. अच्छा, when I say disparity, income disparity, rural urban disparity, gender disparity, या पर तोड़ तो दो ना कि मीनिंग क्या है वर्ड का. Poverty, lack of jobs, income poverty, and now you know there is multidimensional poverty. right? Housing hai, education hai, drinking water hai. Sort of poverty is also part of development challenge. So can you make two columns? Two columns. Apna listing of problems ho gaya. So there is yes, migration can solve. No, migration cannot solve. So development वाले बताओ, poverty वाले बताओ, and inequal बताओ. Which migration can solve, it can't solve. It can solve, it can't solve. Make a small list. Yes, one of the problems of development could be scarcity of labor. Excellent. Scarcity of labor. Okay, development problem can also be slum proliferation. Okay. So you see, all of you can't have the same points. But definitely kuch key points honge na. Okay, key points will be common, some of them. So it's not an answer of yes will solve, not will solve. Okay, आप listing करके बताओ किसकी बात कर रहे हो? Absolutely, very nice. Development problem will also include some of the environmental problems. Deforestation, problems of groundwater overuse, okay, problems of plastic pollution. Now put some terms. Let's see. Acha, if migration can't solve, then tell me what can solve this? So I've got 1, 2, 3. So if migration can't solve, what will solve? If migration can't solve, what will solve? ये बताओ मुझे आप. जैसे problems of deforestation, okay, ये land use problems हैं. They're related to, okay, agriculture expansion, urbanization of hill regions. ये migration थोड़ी solve होने वाला है. Problems of groundwater depletion. There's a problem of type of seeds you are using and the power subsidies you are giving. वो problem है आपका. Conflicts. Conflicts problems are because of, okay, एक तो political, one-manship होंगे, and also issues of cultural clashes, some of which is rooted in the history of British policies. If you guys learn, देखो content का ना, I can promise you will not have a shortage of content. The problem will be how to open up a question. खोला कैसे जाएगा? How to attack a question. एक बार ये table बन गया ना, then you can talk about that India has a diversity of problems related to development, poverty, and inequalities. Okay. While some of the problems can be solved by migrations, there are many other problems that require policy changes and related to modification in laws and governance. Right? The following are the problems that migration can solve. 1, 2, 3, and they are related to maybe agriculture distress on out migration, labor scarcity problems maybe, okay, problems related to, okay, low resource base, low economic base, and a higher demand of employment. Give an example, Bihar wala, Kerala wala, how they have been solved because of out migrations and remittances. 2 paragraphs, khatam karo isko. But following are the examples of problems that migration on its own can't solve. तो आपको सब नहीं लिखना है. Pick up any 2 or 3 of them and tell us how the problems. Yes, so if I have got, say, sea level rise and coastal erosion, yes, migration can solve. At least short term में solve कर देगा. So that's your choice of list. But I want this table to be the basis of attacking the question. Is it okay? So give yourself few minutes और ये table पहले खत्म करो. Ayman, that's an interesting point. If we can have policies of relocation of people in border areas, villages में, it can solve some problems of security. ठीक है? Yes, migration can solve problems related to lack of education avenues, inequalities हैं. And talk about Indian migrants to US for education. Okay, yes, Sachin, ठीक है. क्या पूछे? नीति आयोग यार, व्हाट इज नीति में क्वेश्चन मार्क क्यों लगा रहे हो? कौन है? नीति आयोग. Yes, if the table is well made, this can also be part of that diagram of yours. Conflicts का short term solution can be escape the areas of persecution. Definitely. Short term, जहाँ riots चल रहा है, escape please. We have got tribal conflicts, tribal genocides हैं. Migration definitely can solve short term. Rohingyas escaping. Okay, Chakma refugees escaping. Okay, Kukis or Meiteis escaping. Violence areas हैं. Long term solution is some type of collaboration, cooperation, policing. ऐसे क्वेश्चंस में ना आप गलत कर ही नहीं सकते. It's only about how do you open up the question. हो जाएगा अभी? The structure of the answer. Start with an introduction. Okay, that migration is considered as a spontaneous process. While migration does solve some problems, there are many other problems that migrations cannot address. Okay, so 2-3 lines on this. If you look at Lee's model of push-pull theory, migration is seen as a solution to distress out migrations. Okay, so give some writing up there. The following are the range of problems that may or may not be solved by migration. The diagram बनाओ इसमें. A table or a schematic or a graph, whatever. Then heading number 1. Okay, problems that migrations can solve. 2-3 problems with some data बताओ. Draw one map. Okay, how out migration from Kerala has helped reduce the pressure of population. Okay, and high remittances. Okay, out migrations probably from northeast has helped save lives. Okay, maybe Rohingyas has helped save lives, or Ukraine has helped save lives. Okay, so some examples. Yes, it can solve problems. Migration can be a solution to populations escaping major environmental disasters. डाल दो case study, Sundarban areas and out migration because of cyclones. ठीक है, 2 में काफी, 2-3 is enough. Right? Labor shortages. Okay, can be one of the solutions. Can be migrations. So we have migrations of Bihar, UP workers into the farms of Haryana, Punjab, into farms of Tamil Nadu, farms of Kerala. So labor shortages are met. Okay, Germany has tried, Japan is trying, US has a policy of encouraging. Yes, labor shortages has, and India has a democratic dividend. Okay, so it can solve. देखा points आप लोगों ने? So conflicts, pressure of population, lack of resources, labor shortages, yes, migration can solve. Environmental disasters, escaping, yes, migration solve. But the following type of problems which have roots in developmental issues cannot be solved by migrations in the long run. Okay, which are, again, talk about conflicts, the women problems, sex ratio, okay, problems related to aging populations. Ye development problems you cannot solve by migrations. Yes, so short-term basis pe, okay, migrations can help escape short-term, okay, miseries and poverty. But otherwise, if migrations continues without planning, we can have problems of congestions also, lack of, okay, amenities even in urban areas. Khatam karo is answer. Okay? Right then. Migrations कराया आपको मैंने. One discussion on development issues. Yes, please, once I give the format, try writing a good research answer. Data काफी दिया हुआ है आपको. With case studies, try the answer. 2 case studies, okay, and diagrams के साथ. Okay. Now moving towards development, because I said population mein, most questions are around problems and development and solutions. Remember the first class we discussed? Okay. So development issues, now I'm giving a format. Development issues mein, you try recalling 4 or 5 things. Number 1, some discussions on what is development. Development is not merely economic growth, per capita income. There's a social component. There is an environmental component. Okay. Take development towards welfare geography. Okay. Development towards social well-being, security, leisure, quality of work, okay, basic amenities. So development as a concept, you should know something. Welfare geography, social well-being, and those elements. उसके बाद में 4 areas बड़े important है development में. One is economy expansion. Economy expansion includes economic diversification. Okay, it includes skilling programs. It also includes, okay, labor laws. An expansion could also mean integration of labor markets. What I mean by a population of Rajasthan can find a job in Mumbai, can find a job in Bangalore. Somewhere the mobility is a very important part of expansion. Okay, because local population can't always get absorbed in the local economy. You need to expand the prospects of people moving into some new labor markets. So आपको इसको आपको करना होगा, integrate करना होगा. Link agriculture with industries, link industries with trade services, link agriculture with urban areas. We call this as labor integration, labor market integration. It's part of expansion, development. The second important aspect of development is, do talk about women issues in particular. women health, women education, okay, women nutrition issues, women and reproductive health. So alag se women, because women almost make up 50% of a society. Even if I talk about adverse sex ratio, ऐसा नहीं है कि women will become very less. In a society जहां पर I'm saying 940 women है compared to 1000 men, essentially 50-50 है और क्या, right? So women are a very important component of, okay, the society. Half of the population and significant part of the labor force also. ठीक है? So women discussion अलग से करना development में. Third aspect development में, make sure you talk about environment issues. Lot of problems of development are related to environment issues. Environment issues, desertification tops, droughts problems. Okay. Now we have problems of flash floods, urban or rural hill areas. And these disasters, okay, will aggravate problems of inequalities. They'll aggravate problems of inequalities, aggravate problems of, okay, mortality, aggravate problems of outmigrations. ठीक है? So discuss development beyond economy, discuss development as a part of economic expansion. India case में economic expansion is agriculture and urban areas, development as women, and development as environment issues. Because geography hai, you say that this type of development approach is best addressed by geography's regional planning concepts. Otherwise, ये answer चला जाएगा, GSN बन जाएगा, right? Okay, I want to bring in geography here. The concept of sustainable regional development is, so I know some of you have not done this topic. आप लिख लो आप इसको. But those who have done the topic with me already, regional planning में, you understand this. The concept of horizontal unity, vertical unity, environmental, okay, sustainability, local participation, ये कुछ terms हैं. There's some concepts of regional planning. Okay, local participation, environmental sustainability, financial viability, spatial integrations. इसको एक फॉर्मेट बना लो कि डेवलपमेंट पूछते ही I will attack these 4-5 points. ठीक है? Okay. Now, yeah, development of community is correct. Now, one important aspect of development, ये geographical concept is that we need to have, okay, dispersal of development across sectors and regions. Development must not get concentrated geographically or sectorally. You must have dispersal of development. Okay, फैला देना पड़ेगा. Dispersal in terms of more and more places, that is spatial expansion, and development in terms of more and more sectors, not just IT sector. When you bring in spatial expansion, it again becomes geography. The geography must have balanced regional development, correct? What is development? What are the key components of development? And what is development in terms of geographical concept? A regional planning and balanced development. Even environment is part of geography. अगर geography बता दिया आपने यानी added environment dimensions, वो automatically बन गया आपका part of geographical studies. ठीक है. Now again, some of you have not done this topic, but अब लिखो आप. See, one aspect of spatial expansion of development. So what here? When I'm saying development, development. So I said, I am expanding the scope and meaning of development. Development की income मत देखो. Development, I said, is a labor integration and economic expansion. Development is environment. Development is women issues. ठीक है? Other aspect of development is, I said, okay, the regional aspect. It is the regional planning concept and also a regional spread की बात हो रही है. You're spreading development. Don't keep development only to Mumbai or some pockets of states. When you talk about the regional planning concept, a very important idea of geography will be multi-level planning and a grassroots planning. Multi-level planning and grassroots. So again, I'm repeating. Some of you have not done these topics, आप बस लिख लो. Okay, so that when we do this, you'll get a hang of it. Geography में क्या हर ये problem है. The answers require more and more inter-topic linkages. Okay, कायदे से answer writing will start only after all the topics are done. But we are taking a shortcut right now. Something called the multi-level planning, MLP. And one thing, okay, which is part of grassroots planning involving. So I think all of you have heard about, okay, watershed development. Watershed इस approach में दोनों है. Multi-level planning भी है and grassroots empowerment भी है. The local population can be part of watershed development. ठीक है? ये दोनों term geography में आ गया. Now when I say a regional spread, how to spread development across regions, the three ways of doing this. One is by, क्या हुआ, मैंने चेंज कर दिया. Yeah. So one is by increasing a spatial mobility and spatial interaction. How does development go from Mumbai towards parts of Vidarbha? How can development go from Delhi towards Rajasthan? How can development go from Chennai and Bangalore towards plateau interiors? By spatial mobility. इसके तीन component हैं. Migration is one, let the labor can move. Second is trade होना चाहिए. Resource regions and consumption regions and production regions को integrate करो. And the third is transportation. So transportation networks are part of spatial integration. और यही चीज missing है hill areas में. यही missing है northeast regions में. How do you have spatial expansion? Okay. By migration, let the people move freely. Labor can move. This labor mobility is part of labor market integration. I can live in Gujarat, I can work in Maharashtra. I live in Tamil Nadu, I can work in parts of Kerala. I live in UP, Bihar, I can work in parts of Punjab, Haryana. An example of labor market is migration. I said trade. Okay. Trade link production systems with consumption centers. International trade, local trade. और ये दोनों नहीं होगा अगर transportation नहीं होगा. So your development as a regional process, ये अपने आप क्यों disappear कर रहा है? भूत. One of you having a remote or what? Yes, wait. ठीक है, all done here? अच्छा, इसके अलावा, okay, there is one more concept of development is, if you know about core periphery model, there are economic cores. Economic cores through trade, through transportation, they can influence development of smaller centers. The core periphery model. Okay. So Delhi can influence Jaipur. Jaipur can influence Tong. Right? Mumbai can influence Pune. Pune can influence parts of Vidarbha. This is example of what's called as core periphery models. Okay. Different hierarchical centers get integrated. Yes. Example of this is the integration through satellite towns. Correct. Very nice. Okay. Big city, small city, a smaller town, and a village. You can integrate them in terms of trade, transport, and mobility. इतना डाल दो, geography is done. Any development question में आप ये format use करो. ठीक है? Define, expand the scope of development and bring development towards regional planning and approach. ठीक है? So some trade transport जो है, yeah, you'll have all that Shipra, but then for that all your friends should have read something on regional planning first. ठीक है? So I'm skipping. अभी discussion हमारा population है. Okay, so all those points I'll come back afterwards. Right now I just mentioned some elements where you can compare. ठीक है? Now take down one small comparison like a case study. ये example है. You guys can develop on this. I'm comparing, essentially I'm discussing the importance of women, health, education on income and development. इसमें बहुत co-relationship है. I'm explaining that. The impact of women, impact of health, and impact of education on income, and development. So the example we have taken is comparing two districts. Gujarat mein we have Surat, and Haryana we have Mewat. Mewat and area called Nuhu, right? These are one of the most backward regions in terms of development, education, women rights, even basic employment issues. Okay, and Surat among the better areas of India in Gujarat. Okay, so the data is so social issues. So I'm talking about social issues. If you look at professional access to professional healthcare, access to professional healthcare, this is almost more than 95%. Mewat mein it is less than 70%. 70%. If you look at institutional delivery, childbirth in nursing homes hain, hospitals hain, it's called as institutional delivery. In Surat, it's again almost 95%. Mewat is again less than 70% or around 70%. Okay. Basic vaccinations में again more than 90%. इसमें data not available. Basic vaccinations. Okay. Surat more than 90%. Not available. Okay, then it says children and anemia. Sorry, women, not children. Women and anemia. Okay, Surat में थोड़ा high है. In general, Surat, Gujarat has a higher prevalence of problems of malnutrition. ठीक है, but anyways high है, around 70% है. Mewat में not available. This is one of the aberrations we have. Not available. Then a birth registration. registration. Surat almost more than 97%, यहाँ पर about 75%. So overall you see Surat has relatively better social development indicators. Women issues, because delivery, all of that is linked to women issues. In Surat, the average household disposable income is among the highest in India. It's almost more than 8 lakhs. Average household disposable income is more than 8 lakhs. Surat mein is more than 8 lakhs. For Mewat, it is 45,000. एक पूरे फैमिली का इनकम, फैमिली का मतलब है okay, फादर मदर 2 or 3 चिल्ड्रन, देयर हाउस होल्ड, पूरे फैमिली इनकम एनुअल जो है 45,000. यू अर्निंग 3-4,000 रुपीज पर मंथ, राइट? एंड इंडिया का एवरेज है अबाउट 1.8 lakhs एवरेज हाउस होल्ड डिस्पोजेबल इनकम. And Surat also has almost 72% employment in the industrial sector. Whereas Mewat has more than 85% employment in the agriculture sector. Mewat is in Haryana, Delhi NCR का part. इसको आप रख लो फॉर्मूला. दिस डेटा इज बाय अ नेशनल काउंसिल ऑफ अप्लाइड इकोनॉमिक रिसर्च. नेशनल काउंसिल ऑफ अप्लाइड इकोनॉमिक रिसर्च 2010-11 2018 वाला डेटा है, उस रेंज वाला डेटा है. यू मेंशन अबाउट 2010 से 2018 का डेटा एवरेज है. नेशनल काउंसिल of applied economic research. All good? So any question? अच्छा, एक और चीज है, both Mewat and Nu दोनों they both come under aspirational district program of India. They both come under aspirational district program of India. This you can use in your GS paper 2 also. Inequalities, poverty, women issues. ठीक है? After class, I will share a document of 3-4 pages. There are about 7-8 population programs for you. लिख लो the name of the programs, objective क्या है, क्या major matrices हैं. इनसे more than 72%. मेवात में agriculture employment is more than 85%. मेवात has one of the highest north में BPL populations में आते हैं. So, and use this programs as a part. इतना ही काफी है. I'm not teaching you GS here. I want that reference in your conclusions. Okay. The name of the programs क्या क्या हैं? One is Mission Parivar Vikas. Mission Parivar Vikas. इसका main objective था to reduce birth rate and TFRs. Encourage contraceptives. Encourage contraceptives. Launched in 2016. Very successful, right? In almost 10 years' time, dramatic decline in TFR in India, almost 2.1 and decreasing in urban areas. इसके बारे में है. Then Poshan Abhiyan, POSHAN, Poshan, is a part of National Nutrition Mission. ठीक है? It targets children, women, and adolescent girls. Okay, undernutrition, anemia, stunting. Poshan Mission. Then you have this program called Pradhan Mantri Matru Vandana Yojana. Pradhan Mantri Matru Vandana Yojana. This is for meeting nutritional needs of expecting mothers. Nutritional need of expecting mothers. And to compensate for the wage loss. Expecting mothers will lose income. And for compensating for the wage loss. And it's meant for largely, it's meant for, okay, to meet the nutritional needs of expecting mothers and to compensate for their wage loss. नौकरी चली जाती है, what do they do there? It's meant for women in the informal sector, not those under central government and state government employment. Yeah, 5,000 rupees per transfer, free transfer, direct benefit transfer. वो details बच्चे आप देखना material से. Then we have Janani Suraksha Yojana. This is for reducing MMR and IMR. Reducing MMR and IMR. Okay. One major agenda of this program is to address the anemia in women. Address anemia is a low blood count. Address anemia in women. Okay, so I'll give you the document. Okay. By the way, before I forget, today we will upload the practice questions of settlement geography. Right? Already done already? Again, क्या 10 या 12 questions जो भी होगा, along with the model answers. आपके पास 3-4 दिन time है. Okay. Today, tomorrow, Sunday, first half of Monday, if you have time. And ये 3-4 दिन में these questions can be well prepared. So the first practice test, you did not participate for whatever reasons. But henceforth, that fear of writing or phobia जो है ना, वो हटना चाहिए. And I'm telling all of you, bring your answers. Okay. जितना पढ़ पाए, समझ में आया. बिना देखे लिखो. नहीं याद आ रहा, देख के लिखो. No worries. But I want writing to happen. Because after writing, when I discuss the questions, no, you can do things better. So all of you without failure. Okay. Otherwise, ये पूरा सेशन बेकार हो जाएगा आपका. Next year you'll have the same problem. Sir, I joined the course, कुछ फायदा नहीं हुआ, याद नहीं हुआ. Okay, I could not do. अभी टेस्ट करा दो. All the drama goes on then. So please find time, and you feel you are pressurized, but it's all about a bit of, stretching yourself. 10 नहीं होगा, 5 कर लो. और हम कह रहे हैं देख के लिखो यार, उतार दो, कोई बात नहीं. Somewhere some writing must start. ठीक है? Arun, conclusions can move towards programs. Applied वाला रखो आप. Okay, fine. Let's continue. Discussions around culture now. Culture. No break. Okay. I am a young man. Okay. I expect you to compete with me. जिसको जाना है बीच में चले जाओ. But my teaching goes on. आके वो पार्ट भर देना. ठीक है? So I'm taking up So I've discussed migration, I've done development discussions. अच्छा, development में one important element of development is discuss aging thoroughly. My guess, aging will be a possible question in the coming years. Pension scheme वगैरह जो है, aging में know the population structure, कितने old age में है, कितना बढ़ने वाला है. You have one model answer already with you. इसमें कुछ पढ़ाना है नहीं. Until you want to define who an aging person is, it's no use. ठीक है? So you'll do this. Come towards culture. Culture issues. Now, culture issues में there are 4 broad discussion topics. One is culture as a concept in geography. कुछ भी क्वेश्चन होगा ना, इस पे एक पैराग्राफ लिख देना. What is the significance of cultural studies in geography? क्यों पढ़ते हैं? Why do I study tribes or racial diversity, language or religion? Why do I study elements of how people live? Because we said that culture is one of the factors in man-environment relationship, and culture is also the consequence of man-environment relationship. The gods we worship, the festivals we have, our religious practices, they're because of the local climate, local geography, local environment. Okay? So, man-environment relationship is geography. So, geography without culture, you can't study. Culture decides how man interacts. Okay? That's why, we say that geography, therefore, is physical environment and also the elements of cultural environment. Okay, the agricultural land is an example of cultural environment. The houses we make are cultural elements. Okay? So, geography is physical plus cultural. These two together we call as the cultural landscapes. इस पे एक पैराग्राफ डाल देना. Any culture question में डाल देना. And remember, when I say culture here, यहाँ पर culture is racial diversity, culture is beliefs and traditions, culture are practices and rituals, artifacts like housing, paintings, songs. So, when I add physical and culture together, we get cultural landscapes. And for those who have not done geographical thought, you remember 3 names. One is Ratzel, Frederick Ratzel, a very important geographer who talks about cultural landscapes. A very important man is Carl Sauer, and one more person is Whittlesey. Yeah, यहाँ पर Ratzel and Vidal कर दो. You can put them together. Okay, Vidal and Ratzel, they talked about cultures, man-environment relationship. Carl Sauer is a very important name. 1920s and 60s में, 20s में, Carl Sauer. And third man is Whittlesey. Whittlesey he gave a concept called as compage. Compage is something like the cultural landscape. समझ में आए नहीं समझ में आए, इसको चिपका के आना एक पैराग्राफ में. ठीक है? Genre DB, if you know a bit more, fine. Varenius जाने दो यार, इतना काफी है, हो गया. I'm convinced आप पढ़ रहे हो, इतना काफी है. Okay, so this is one part of the answer. Yes, that's one answer. Acha. Second aspect of culture is culture includes racial and ethnic diversity. It includes racial, ethnic diversity, and the best way this manifests is tribal diversity. किसी एरिया का कल्चरल देखना है डाइवर्सिटी, we say study the local tribal diversities that exists or that once existed, that have changed. So tribal studies are part of, and this also gives us insights into issues related to development, culture and अच्छा. A third aspect of culture आपके सिलेबस में है और काफी पूछा गया है, is the linguistic aspect. Language as a very important, और अभी तो बहुत डिबेट है, हिंदी, तमिल, मराठी, national language, no language, yes language, चल रहा है डिबेट. It's every possibility that this is a question. Okay, you must know about at least 7-8 important languages. What are the language groups of India? Indo-Aryan group, Dardic group, Dravidian group, Ostic group, Sino-Tibetan group. Okay, so whatever groups we have, you must know that. Map बनाकर बताओ कहाँ पर क्या languages हैं. Know the local names: Dardic language, Nuristani language. We have Sinastani language or Sina language, North Dravidian, South Dravidian, Gondi language, Khasi, and all of that. ठीक है? Khmer languages. So all of you revise this part here. Nothing to teach in this. Okay. Synopsis type का आधा पेज में with map बना के रख लो. The linguistic diversity, one is have an idea about the world linguistic groups. World में क्या क्या groups हैं? 4-5 of them. Germanic group, Latin group. We have the Sino-Tibetan group, the Ostic African group. 4-5 names. ठीक है? वर्ल्ड का क्या पैटर्न है, नोट्स देख लो. और इंडिया क्या इंडिया अगर नहीं पढ़ा है, लुक अप खुल्लर में देयर इज जस्ट 2 pages of language groups, and Majid Hussain में there is one table on this. What are the if you guys have followed my Twitter channel, okay, I have posted one. ठीक है, मैं दोबारा डाल दूंगा आपको. I'll put that in your Telegram channel also. Very nice map on what are the linguistic diversities of northern India. And the debate was, you're talking about Hindi language as a core language, and Hindi has lot of dialects. Okay, debate उल्टा कह रहा है कि हिंदी लैंग्वेज हमारा है ही नहीं. When I say language literature, you're looking at books, poetries, you're looking at folk music. तो core languages हिंदी नहीं है. Core languages भोजपुरी है, मगधी है, बुंदेली है, हरियाणवी, राजस्थानी, कुमाऊनी, गढ़वाली. What we call as Hindi dialects, actually they are core languages which have a rich literature tradition. Generally what happens, there's a core language से you have got dialects developing. इंडिया में ऐसा नहीं हुआ है. हिंदी तो बहुत बाद में आया as a name. Actual core languages are these 4-5 languages. ठीक है, so a very nice diagram, एक इंडिया का मैप बना के, I liked it on the Twitter, I am shared it. मैं दोबारा कर दूंगा. And use that map, please. So you're talking about, sorry, my name, Shabbir Bashir. अपने नाम से, your channel, I don't use another pseudonym. कोई नहीं, I'll share that. Oh yes, all of them have their own. See, scripts can be different, but script थोड़ी बोलते हो कि हिंदी script है. You say Devanagari script, right? Okay, so they don't have own scripts, don't say that. They all share Devanagari and lot of variations within Devanagari. Okay, even Gujarati is a variant of Devanagari, and unke bhi writings are a bit different. Okay, Punjabi has a variant of Devanagari, and Gurmukhi looks different. Okay, so nice. So, ऐसे कुछ inputs डाल के Indian languages पे have some command. Yes, the core language they have developed are from Prakrit Pali, correct. So Prakrit Pali ka बोल सकते हो, ये dialect से या variant से. Okay, so discuss that please. Linguistic aspects are important. And the fourth aspect of culture is importance of diversity and how does globalization impact diversity. Importance of diversity. Why should we have language diversity? And how is it impacted by globalization? So I think if you have done these 4 themes in culture, okay, you won't miss too many questions on this. All fine? Say, you must move to a position of study where you are not studying topics mechanically as sequence. Okay, you are studying now in terms of interconnections. Okay, I'm assuming notes kar liya, synopsis, something is done if 100%. But see how I am reducing the topics into 3-4 themes. And then you think on this, okay, with some case study or whatever. All done, all of you? Okay, now I'm giving you a case study like a discussion. Oh yes, while discussing okay, the diversity, you will talk about cultural regions of the world. You will talk about cultural regions of India. अब वो मैं नहीं पढ़ाऊंगा बैठ के अभी. Okay, what is Bork region? What are linguistic regions? That I assume you have seen through. Okay. Now, one example of a regional language and how it is impacted by okay, a globalization. ये इसको याद कर लेना and use it whatever you want to use it. So I'm taking a language, I mean ये news में था, I've taken the language called as Sherpa language. Okay, Sherpas are the hill tribes in the Himalayas. You find lot of Sherpas. Sherpas ke origins are from Nepal, but India Sherpas majorly found in parts of Sikkim and some parts of northeast India. Sherpas. Sherpas are hill area tribes, yes. And the language they speak is the Sherpa language, which has its roots in a Sino-Tibetan group of languages. Sino-Tibetan group of languages. Okay. So, कुछ points लिख लो, then I'll give you the diagram and rest down. Since the last, point-wise, since the last 50 years, India has lost more than 200 languages. In the last 50 years, India has lost more than 200 languages. And currently, UNESCO declares 197 languages of India as endangered. 200 हमने खो दिया है. The languages are no longer spoken, and 197 are endangered languages. Okay. Most of these languages lack scripts. They lack scripts and lack the tradition of literature, written literature. They lack the tradition of written literature. Next, Sherpa language of Sikkim. Sherpa language of Sikkim is one such endangered language. It has Tibetan roots. Tibetan roots, spoken in Nepal and in Sikkim. Right, next, write down. In India, in Sikkim, there are 16,000 Sherpa speakers. The 16,000 Sherpa speakers, but decreasing at an alarming rate. Decreasing at an alarming rate. The main reason in decline of Sherpa language, the main reason in the decline of Sherpa language, number one, not relevant to modern education and employment. It's not relevant for modern education and employment. It has hardly any speakers outside Sikkim. Outside Sikkim. Less than 30% of the younger Sherpa population, less than 30% of younger Sherpa population actually speak the language. Actually speak the language. तो यंग में अडॉप्शन बहुत पुअर है. नेक्स्ट, in the age of social media, the dominant languages are Hindi and English in India. And hence has lesser transmission because of reduced communication in Sherpa. Reduced communication in Sherpa. Next, out-migrations from Sikkim. Out-migrations from Sikkim in search of employment or education. Employment or education further limits the relevance of Sherpa language. Further limits the use of Sherpa language. And the fourth reason is Sikkim's emerging economy is tourism. Okay. And this further reduces the relevance of Sherpa language. Reduces the relevance of Sherpa language, unlike the more popular and viable language like English. Unlike the more viable language like English. I mean, it's very interesting, tourism happens because of two main reasons. One is the environment, second is local culture. Okay, people move in to see local culture. And the irony is, the more migration you have, the more of local culture will become irrelevant. People coming from other countries, other states, they'll speak in English, they'll speak in some other language. So Sherpa, जिसमें tourism becomes a major dominant economy, वहाँ पर local languages will suffer. Maybe other elements of culture will still be protected, but languages become a casualty. Okay, So इसका एक डायग्राम बना लो. State of Sikkim. State of Sikkim, something like this. These are the main districts. This is North District of Sikkim, West District of Sikkim, this is South District, and this is East District. The main Sherpa regions are South District mein is an area called as Perbing, sorry, P-E-R-B-I-N-G, Perbing region of South District. And north में है Mangan region, M-A-N-G-A-N, Mangan region, which has dominant Sherpa speakers. So Perbing region and Mangan region have the dominant Sherpa speakers. And there are some of them in east and west. We see the fastest decline of Sherpa language in the southern districts. यहाँ पर maximum tourism है. This is where we have maximum urban development happening. This is more isolated. Mangan region of North District, Southern District, Perbing region, यहाँ पर dominant Sherpa speakers हैं, and some in West and East also. But the maximum Sherpa decline है in the Southern districts, West, South and East. इसका 3 reason है. These 3 regions have more tourism. The 3 regions have more urbanization. And the 3 regions also have more interstate migrations. यहाँ से लोग ज़्यादा जा रहे हैं बाहर. Whereas northern districts is more isolated. These are more, tribes which are more isolated. So some amount of language remains preserved here. But these regions are losing. Yes, यहीं south में you got Darjeeling. यहाँ पर Darjeeling है, Bengal. On this side you have got Jalpaiguri. So lot of, and this lower slopes जो है, यहाँ पर है tea gardens. Lot of them move towards tea gardens, parts of Bengal. Add कर लो. The southern districts are losing the Sherpa language faster than the northern districts. Tourism, urban development, along with out-migrations from Sikkim. आप इसको ना कहीं भी डाल सकते हो. Any discussions on what are the impacts of globalization on culture, impact of economic development on culture, talk about the impact on language, ethnicity, put Sikkim, Sherpa regions, and you're done. Take all of you. That's one. I'm almost done. Just अच्छा, one question लिखो आप, write down. This is a bit of your work, okay? What are your reasons? What are your reasons in favor of or against? What are your reasons in favor or against for India as a multiple language and a multi-religion? India has a multiple language and India has a multi-religion religion region of the world? ठीक है? That's the question for you to think on. क्या बताओ, India as a multicultural region, it's good for India, bad for India? क्या argument है? Or India as a multiple religion country of the world, what are the favorable regions? What are the adverse regions? Think on this. This I will ask you in your sectional test. ठीक है? अब मैंने क्वेश्चन लीक कर दिया, इसका आंसर नहीं दे रहा हूं. 3 चीज का ध्यान रखो. I want the answer look like a geography answer, not a general answer ऐसे लिख दिया आपने. Second, I want specifics, maybe a case study or 2. Okay. Third, लिखना होगा 2 पेज में. That's your, okay. What are your arguments for and against India as a region of multiple languages, India as region of multi-religions, region of the world? Okay, so I repeat, I want you to see, use geographical concepts, specifics with a case study, whatever you can, okay, and do not write more than 2 pages. Okay, go diagram discussions के साथ में. This is a question I'll ask you in your sectional test. जब भी पूछेगा आपको. ठीक है? One more question लिखो. What is the genesis of tribal and ethnic diversity of India? The genesis of tribal and ethnic diversity of India. This is a PYQ question. Again, I want geography here. Geography, talk in terms of location, talk in terms of migration pattern, talk about relative isolation, talk about, okay, proximity with some other region, okay, talk about impact of a local environment. Okay? So what are the geographical factors in the genesis and evolution of tribal and racial diversity? Fine. So out of the 20 questions we'll ask you in sectional test, 2 questions मैंने लिख कर दिया. ठीक है? So prepare these 2 questions properly. Yeah. Okay then. Fine. Practice test, sorry. Yeah, Somadeep, long hours.